Hi, hello, welcome everybody. I'm so glad you're here. We are talking today about Movement RX. What the heck does that even mean? What am I talking about when I say that? And how to know if maybe Movement RX is something that you could benefit from. I will be talking about how to incorporate a little bit more Movement RX into your routine and fitness plan, and also talk a little bit more about how I use this term to help me kind of plan and organize what I'm doing in my own fitness routine. So, thanks again for being here. My name is Linnea. I have gone from being an aerial circus performer with chronic neck pain to the founder and owner of my own Pilates studio here in Olympia, Washington, with a focus on rehabilitative exercise and functional biomechanics. So I've personally rehabilitated from 7 different surgeries, a head injury, and a herniated disc in my neck. All of these things have made me come back stronger, smarter, and more passionate than ever to help others along their healing journey. So every week I do this. Every week I go live here on Facebook. You can catch the replays and the library of previous tutorials over on YouTube. And I always welcome your comments. I really work hard to try to make this as value packed and applicable to you as possible. So let me know if there's something that you're struggling with in your health and fitness routine, an injury that's just kind of nagging along and not really cleaning up, even if you've tried physical therapy and other kinds of exercise programs to try to help it along, and really anything like that. So we topics range from things like how to work out safely with back pain or neck pain, to how to build a consistent workout program that works with your busy schedule, even maybe all the way up to things like how to train for a big adventure. Like this November, I'm getting ready to go on a 10-day sea kayaking trip in Baja, and I'm really excited and starting to ramp up my training plan to be ready to be kayaking many, many miles every single day for 10 days. So, again, yeah, that's why we're here. That's what we're talking about. Today, we are talking about Movement RX. So, what does this mean? It's telling me that the current frame rate is too low. I don't know what that means. I'm going to just ignore it. Learning about Facebook Live. Okay. No, I don't want to learn more right now. Okay, so let's just talk about what Movement RX is. You know, this is a term that I have adapted and use in my own training, and I use it with my clients basically to distinguish, are you doing cardio? Are you going out on a hike? Are you lifting weights? What's the goal and what's the intention? And kind of the more that I've learned about corrective exercise and healthy movement patterns in my own life, I've actually started to separate out when I do more restorative movements from when I do more of a workout. Obviously, there's a lot of overlap, but I do kind of use this idea of Movement RX as something that I schedule differently than other parts of my workout and fitness plan. Okay? So that's one thing that I'm talking about with Movement RX. Another thing that I'm talking about with Movement RX is it's kind of like the foundation, right? It's like brushing your teeth every day or something, right? Yeah, you might want to whiten your teeth. You might want to do something cosmetic to your teeth to make them look better. But the baseline is just that you're trying to brush your teeth every day. And that's a little bit what I think of with Movement RX. Whatever your health and fitness goals might be, there's a certain baseline that we want to maintain just to make sure that we're kind of doing our best to stay out of chronic pain, doing our best to kind of get rid of stress, doing our best to just kind of get this like baseline of healthy movement into our body and system really pretty much on a daily basis, most days, right? So that's what I'm talking about with Movement RX. And in a way it simplifies it because we can kind of like bite off more than we can chew, right? We can be like, oh, I want to like lose 15 pounds and I want to gain a lot of upper body strength and I want to go on this big adventure. And then it kind of becomes too much and can become overwhelming. Like we put the expectation really high on everything that we want to accomplish. So Movement RX, in my mind, is also a way to be like, okay, what do I need to do to just like kind of feel a little bit better today? Like, what do I need to do to just like do the top 3 stretches that are going to help my neck pain, stay at bay today? And so that is really what I'm talking about when I talk about Movement RX. And so maybe the next step from there is to talk about, how do you know if you need Movement RX? And really, I mean, I think pretty much we all need it, but specifically if you have a lot of stress, if you find that you're fatigued and kind of overwhelmed by the idea of working out, if you go to the gym and it just feels like you're forcing yourself and you're tired and you're stressed and you're exhausted, but you know that like being more active and working out in some capacity will also help you get more energy, right? Like if you're in that sort of hamster role where you're like exhausted, but you know that working out will help give you energy, but you're exhausted so you don't want to, like then you definitely need Movement RX. Certainly if you're struggling with any kind of lasting chronic pain, whether that's just repetitive, kind of chronic pain and stiffness from sitting at a desk for long hours, kind of stiffness around the neck, stiffness in the low back that kind of can morph between just like stiffness and discomfort to like real chronic pain. Or there might be like a history of injury, that just kind of keeps nagging at you, things like that, like then yes, you definitely need some Movement RX. And then I would say like the third camp of folks that really definitely need Movement RX, and this is something that I wish I would have realized way back, like in my early 20s, is if you're really actually pushing your athletic ability. You might not have any chronic pain. You might be in your young 20s and feeling great. You might be trying to go to the Olympics. You might be, I say that kind of with some air quotes. I mean, maybe you are going to the Olympics, but probably most of us are not. But you might be, really pushing the edge of what your body can sustain, whether that's just like going on some really long outdoor adventures or something more organized, whatever the case may be. Your body will thank you if you have some kind of specific program that you do that is about kind of restoring your body, making sure that your baseline of, I want to say fitness, but it's a little bit different than that because fitness, we tend to think of strength building, we tend to think of weight loss, right? But it's a little bit different than that. It's like, are we stretching all of our muscles in a way that's going to help our body function better when we're out on the trail running or hiking or whatever it might be? Okay, so that hopefully gives you some ideas of if you are the kind of person that might benefit from Movement RX and what it could do for you. And so the last thing that I want to touch on is really just this idea of like how to incorporate Movement RX into your routine and what that looks like. So here's a great example. I was thinking of a few of my clients recently who are pretty darn active. One of them is a serious runner, like competitive runner, and another one of my clients is just kind of like an avid outdoors person, hiker, and does a lot of, I want to say like yard work, but it's like sort of in between yard work and farm work, right? Like they live on acreage, and so they're like very active working on their land. And both of these clients came to me, and I would say when they came to me, their Movement RX at that point was trying to go to yoga. right? And that was me actually back when I was really pushing my athletic ability and trying to be a, competitive athlete and a semi-professional circus performer. My kind of movement RX back in those days really was yoga. I think a lot of people use yoga as their sort of therapeutic movement bucket. They're like, well, I do yoga, so that's good enough. But both of these clients and myself back when I was in my 20s have pretty specific things going on, right? Like really specific injury history, really specific pain patterns that are showing up repeatedly that aren't getting better from going to yoga. And it's not specific enough to their body, right? Like they're just taking this group class or they're doing like an online program that then they just like do every single day, but it's not really giving them the results they need. So that's why they came to me. And so I help a lot of people sort of separate these things out so that you can think of it like, okay, what's the top 3 exercises that I need to try to do on a pretty much daily basis? Like sometimes I shy away from saying daily because that can be overwhelming. Like, yes, you get to take a day off. Like, yes, we're human, but like most days, right? Like if 7 days is a week, then trying to be like upwards of 4 days a week, right? Most days you're doing something to give your body like specifically, precisely what it needs in order to do what you're trying to do with it. That's going to be wildly different for each person, right? What are you trying to do with your body? And what's your history going into it? Like, what are you struggling with? What's coming up from you? What's your posture? What are your pain patterns? And and that's what I mean by movement RX is like, yes, it's sort of similar to like, oh, I do yoga, so that's like a therapeutic movement program, but it's a little bit more tailored to that. Like, that's what I mean by the RX. Like, it's a little more prescriptive of what do you as an individual need in order for this time that you're taking to really carve out the space and the time for a healthy movement practice. Like, what if you could be spending that time in a way that is so much more specific to like exactly what you need? Okay, so I hope that's all making sense. And also then it doesn't have to take forever, right? It means that instead of trying to like commute all the way to the yoga studio and take like a 75-minute yoga class and then commute all the way home afterwards, I mean, that's great. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love the community and I love things like that. But if you're using that specifically as like your therapeutic cross training to try to help you with like some injuries or pain patterns or something like that, what if it could be 10 minutes in the morning, 4 days a week that you can do in your living room, and what if it got better results in just 10 minutes, right? So that's kind of how I structure, how I think about that for myself and how I try to structure the plan that I make for myself with my own training. And that's what I do for my clients as well. So if this sounds like something that you could benefit from, if this sounds like something that you could use a little bit more support and guidance around, then I would love to invite you to my upcoming 4-week class series. We are starting this coming Monday on July 10th. It's right around the corner. This is an amazing deal, my friends. Like, I'm never going to offer this at this price point again. I really probably most likely never will. So it's $36 for all 4 weeks. You're going to get access to the replays. We're going to do this all on Zoom, so super convenient. And I mean, it's summertime, so I get it. You don't want to be on your computer, but you can bring your device outside. You could totally do this whole entire 4-week class series outside, on the deck, on the beach, wherever you've got space to roll out your mat. You could totally do this outside and enjoy that. Like, that's one of the great things about doing virtual fitness is that you can just kind of take it along wherever. So yeah, we're going to meet for 4 weeks, Mondays at 12 o'clock Pacific time. But if that time doesn't work for you, no worries. I'm going to send out the recordings and you'll have access to all the recordings throughout the entire month of July. head over to limberarts.com/July 2023. So July written out and then the numbers 2023, and grab your spot. There is limited spots. They're going fast. I think I have about 5 spots remaining. I am definitely expecting them to fill. I want everyone to be there because specifically I am turning this entire class series into a digital course. And so what that means is that I want you there because I want to hear what you need. I want to hear what you're struggling with. And I want to create this course specifically based around how I can serve you best. So I can't create this in a vacuum. I have tons of expertise, I've been doing this for nearly 2 decades now. And I've helped thousands and thousands of clients. Really, it's no exaggeration. But this is kind of a new stage for me to try to formulate this into a digital course. So when you join in this class series, it's a really special opportunity to offer feedback and get a little bit more one-on-one support from me, all for $36. Like that's a lot of people pay a lot more than that to get access to me in a one-on-one format. So head over to limberarts.com. That's limber as in flexible, limberarts.com/July 2023, and grab your spot. We start on Monday. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you guys soon. Bye for now.